Hi, I'm Amanda and welcome to my studio. I'm a beekeeper with honeybees and apiaries and Swan Valley Honey, and I have created some beeswax wrap kits. I get asked many times at markets for instructions. You can get all of the details on our website, but I made little handy dandy kits for people. When you get your kit, what you'll find in the kit is you'll have the recipe for how to make it, plus the beeswax that you need, some jojoba oil, and some damar tree resin to use. Now the reason why I like these three ingredients together, because if you use just beeswax, you'll find that the wrap is really hard and not flexible over your food product or containers. That jojoba oil gives it a nice softness to it, so it's a little bit more pliable. The damar resin is also good for giving that stickiness that will stick to your container. The only thing that you'll need to get, because everybody has different tastes, is to get your own fabric. And you can get many fabrics, you can get them on sale, you can choose whatever you'd like. I got some cute bees and some skeps. Bear in mind, if you have a white background, the color of the wax is going to tint that white, so if you're wedded to white, you're going to have to get over that, but it's so cute with the little lemons. And the other thing I like to do when I make my own beeswax wraps is making really big pieces, because these will fit over really nicely if you're going to somebody's house and you're bringing a big salad or a lasagna or something. These fit over really nicely and you can reuse them again and again. When you get your fabric, the first thing you're going to want to do is wash it. And the reason why you want to do that is you want to get your fabric sized right, because cotton, it's 100% cotton is what you want to buy. And what I have is some pinking shears, which are the little crinkle scissors, and cut around the edges, and that stops your fabric from fraying. You don't have to do that, you can use a straight edge, but bear in mind that the fabric might fray a little bit, but it's up to you how you want to do that. And you can create many different sizes, and even keep the scraps for all those quilters and people who like to sew. These little scrap-de-doos are really good for using as well for those little end pieces of cheese or just little odds and sods that you have that you might want to wrap up and put in your fridge. So there's a little bit of equipment that you'll need, and you can find most of this in your kitchen, but you will stain some things. So you may want to go to your local dollar store or a thrift store to get some of this equipment like I have done. You want to do a double boiler. So this one is one that I got at a thrift store. You put your water down below and the pot fits inside, and then you put the items in and you heat this up, and it's the steam from the water that melts the wax and everything. Beeswax will catch fire, so you do not want to leave it unattended. That's really important. You can also create one with just a pot and a tin can. That's super easy. And just as I have done here, this is an old fondue pot that has been in our family for a long time. And I like it because I can put I put the water down below, I can maintain the temperature, and then I've just got a can inside. And this is just from some diced tomatoes that I had made some chili with. So the first thing you do is you want to take your beeswax and you put it into your can or to the pot inside, and you want to also add the damar resin. Now a little handy dandy trick is to take this, and I just have a little mallet or a little, you can use a rolling pin or anything, and you want to just put it on the counter, and I just give it a little tap, 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 tap to make it a finer crunch so that it melts quicker. This recipe that we're creating will make 12 by 12 inch beeswax wraps. And you could, of course, can make them any size that you would like, but that's the configuration. So once your wax and your damar resin is melted, just add in, if you're making the whole kit, put everything in all at once, and add your jojoba oil in. And I also picked up one of these basting brushes from the local dollar store. I think it was $1. And You just want to mix that in. Now you'll notice that some of the wax is going to go solid again because the temperature of the jojoba oil is different than the wax and the damar resin, but just give it a mix and it will melt right in there. When I'm in my kitchen and I'm making beeswax wraps, if you don't have a studio, I would be at my stove and I would use the front two burners to place my cookie sheet on, because this is where I'm going to paint on the melted wax and resin and jojoba oil. I'm going to turn my front two burners on to low. I want to keep this warm. It's just so much easier to apply when things are warm. And I would have my double boiler on this burner here in easy reach. If you're stretching, the other thing you can do is you could turn it this way if it's easier for you to use a front burner, but it's whatever you're comfortable with. Now remember, you're working with hot wax and everything, so it does burn if you get it onto your skin. So do take care and work slowly. This is very relaxing, I think, to do. All right, so now everything is in line. We've got our melted beeswax, our damar resin. I've added the jojoba oil. I've given it a stir. I've got this on low. The pan is heating up nicely. So this is where it's really fun. Just take your cloth. You're gonna dip your brush in. I'm just gonna get some on there, and then sometimes you have to just leave the brush in for a few minutes till you can warm it up again, because the wax will dry on the brush. And now I'm just painting this on. The first couple rounds you do, it's going to take a little bit of time to get this to soak in. But once you get a few of these going and you get some wax onto the parchment paper, then it speeds up a little bit quicker. But you can see as I'm applying it on the corner here, it's starting to soak in. And if it gets a little bit globby on some, that's why it's nice to have this on heated, because it'll melt down and you can smooth it on. You cannot mess this up. If you do think that you have and you like things really perfect, you just keep brushing, because this sheet is nice and warm, and even my globby parts are starting to now melt from the warmth of the cookie tray. The other thing that's nice about having on the parchment paper is that one side of this element is a little bit warmer, so I'm just moving it over to where the heat is, so that this part here where I've got a little bit too much on, I can just warm up that fabric. So you can kind of play around with it a little bit too. It's like a tool without having to touch the pan. Again, this is the first one that I'm doing, so it's just taking a little bit longer, and it's probably soaking up quite a bit here. We just want to brush it off. And not to worry if you get some onto the parchment paper, because when you put your next little bit on, it's going to soak up all that extra wax. So as you get going, by the time you finish and your last one, you'll just be cruising right along. I've done these where you just stick your fabric right on top, and there's so much of the wax onto the thing that just soaks it right up. So again, just have fun with it. I find it really relaxing. Some people they like to put it on solid and then put it into the oven, but I have found that this is the easiest way for me. And there's all kinds of videos online you can follow. There's different, but this is what works. And you can see even this is changing the color a little bit of the beeswax wrap, but I really like this fabric. It's really cute. I don't like anything with bees on it. I can see there's a big chunk of wax there, so I'm just going to peel that off my hands and just stick it into the pot, and it'll remelt. Again, you really can't mess these up. They're super simple to make, super fun. You can get some friends together. You can do it as a group. Have a glass of wine. What's smoking is I've got some wax on the burner, and so not to worry, I'm not on fire. This is taking a little bit of time. Again, just wanting to heat that up. See, that just got globby there, but I'm just using the heat of the pan and brushing it off and getting some even strokes on there. And this takes the excess, I'm melting the excess off, but it's giving it a really good soak. So now I'm just finishing up here. It looks pretty good. I'm just kind of giving it one more extra swipe with the brush. You can flip it over and do the other side if you want, but I find that just the one side is good. And I'm just checking my corners. Everything looks really good. So here's the front. Here's the back. So you're peeling it up. It's a little bit warm, but I'm just going to peel this up, and then I'm just going to set this aside. I've got some parchment paper down here, and just let it dry. And that's all there is to it. It just takes a few minutes, or you can hold it up and dry. Some people, they dry really quickly, so you could put them on clothespins and hang them up, but really there's no need to. You can place them on top of the can there till they dry. And now you'll see on the parchment paper, if you can see this, there's some melted wax. That's perfect. Grab your next piece. On this one, I'm going to grab one that's a little holiday one. It's with the white background to show you the white. And I'm just going to set it on top there, just to show you what it looks like. It's soaked up that wax that's already there. So your brushing becomes less and less the more you're making. And again, I'm just getting the wax onto there. You can brush it, do a smooshy thing. Now imagine how cute this would be. You made some jam, or you're giving a jar of honey or something to somebody as a gift, and you made this as the wrap at the top. And great for little hostess gifts, stocking stuffers. You can mail them flat. The other thing, I was talking to a lady at one of the markets, and I was saying, I'm thinking of doing it this year, is making some cookies and taking one of the bigger wraps, putting the cookies in, wrapping them, tying them with a little bit of string, and then you've got this nice little gift, and then something someone can use after. Beeswax wraps last for quite some time. To clean them, you just want to run them under some warm water, let them air dry. And if they start to lose some of their zest, if you've got your can and you've got a little bit left on the bottom, you can just re-melt everything and then just reprime your wax so it's all ready to go. And here's this one. And you'll see the white turns a little bit yellow, but it's not hideous. It's just the beeswax, and I think it looks quite lovely. There. And now this one is all dry and ready. I can fold it up. I can do whatever I want, and you can use it. So if this was an open glass jar or something, wrap on top. And sometimes I use a little bit of an elastic band, but with this, see, it's quite sticky. It just holds. So that's as easy as it can be. And it's a great little craft project to do with kids, family, friends, and you're all set. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I hope that was really easy. For more information, you can check out our website, or you can send me a message if you're having any problems, but you know what? It's pretty easy, and it's really fun to do.